it down? Right. We'll start then. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the bootcamp at last. Yes. Thank you. I remember the 2017 bootcamp where I met many of you, and I cannot believe we've come such a long way since then. But we're here, and for the next couple of days, we're going to have great presentations, enjoy beautiful Boston, fun evenings, and the company of other people who love VMS as much as we do. So I thank you all for coming here today. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for coming. And I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge the people who made this all possible, our team of organizers. We have Kiara, our marketing mastermind. She's probably somewhere there. Right. Do we need to wait for more people? Okay, let's wait for some more people in. Right, while we're waiting, I just wanted to say that tonight at 6 p.m. we're going to have the Birds of a Feather evening. Most of you probably know what this means, but there are some whiteboards over there in the hall where you can write your name next to anything that you feel like attending tonight. Unfortunately, you will only be able to attend one thing at a time. The presentations will take place at our office at 66 Long Wharf, which is right next door here. And there are a few restaurant reservations. Feel free to join one of those. And if you have a presentation of your own or something that you'd like to talk about, we still have a few spots in the office. So just write that down and let people sign up as well. Is everyone here? Okay, thank you. Right. So Kara here? All right, still helping. That's okay. All right, I'll just be starting then. So I hope you'll enjoy this bootcamp and you'll find it a source of useful information and inspiration for all of our ongoing work on OpenVMS. In our joint presentation with Jan, who's here today, our Director of Account Management, we will be covering the corporate directions for VMS Software Incorporated. That is where we're going with this, what we're doing and why, and what you can expect from us in this year and the few years to come. And first, our mission, which guides everything that we do at VMS Software. Hope this works. Right. By linking the past to the future, we provide OpenVMS users with an opportunity to protect and realize the full value of their application investments. There are lots of OpenVMS users around the world who've once invested in OpenVMS, and they keep investing in it. And we believe that it is a good idea. So we help them protect their investment by improving OpenVMS, by providing support, managed services, application services, by providing information about OpenVMS, and we will continue to do that. That is our mission. And this is why we're doing this, and this is how we're doing this, and these are our values that, again, guide us in our mission to protect our customers' investment in OpenVMS. The two things that we value the most are our customers and their applications, and OpenVMS itself. We're dedicated to the successful future of OpenVMS in our customers' applications. What we do is we bring skillful change to OpenVMS. We try to keep our product portfolio relevant through prioritized innovation. That is, we innovate, but we try to do it in a way that doesn't disrupt our customers' operation. And we bring our best selves to work every day, everywhere, in engineering and account management, I try to do that too. And we do this by working as one. We support each other, we empower each other. This is even more important now that the older generation of VMS experts retire and there is a younger generation that comes. It's important that we share knowledge, that we inspire each other to work for the sake of our customers and for the sake of OpenVMS, and we do that. Finally, we're dedicated to persistent achievement. We're constantly growing, constantly improving. Nothing ever ends. This never ends. OpenVMS never ends. Customer applications, customer support cases, tickets, bugs, they never end. And so we're committed to constantly growing and improving and learning for the sake of our customers and VMS. So what are the forces that shape the VMS world of today? And I know you know this because you've been talking to me about these just now, just 10 minutes ago. I've been talking to you about these things that shape the VMS world today. There are new demands on hardware and software. Integrity, alphas, VAXs are no longer produced. And we've ported OpenVMS to x86, but this doesn't just mean that it runs on x86. It means there are new demands on OpenVMS to keep running on x86 and to run on new technologies that it brings with it, such as the cloud. We see a lot of system managers and VMS software developers and VMS people in general retiring. This happens to our customers. This happens to us too. We have a lot of great engineers that would like to retire in the next couple of days. That's just the next couple of. Anytime now. I'm so sorry.
You might not be far off on that.
That's my whole fear.
Within the next several years. Okay. No, I hope you guys stay with us for as long as possible. You know what I mean.
It can be a rough crowd.
I'm sorry, we need to talk.
Yes, Mike. Right, and finally, there are new audiences discovering VMS. You know, there are IT managers, CIOs walking into the data center and discovering those VMS boxes working there. And we need to tell them what it is. We need to explain what it is. We need to explain why it's there, what it does, and why they shouldn't get rid of it, right? So these are really the three things that shape the VMS world of today. And this is what we're working with right now. And this is why we're doing what we're doing at the moment, which is we're improving VMS. We're making sure it complies with the modern hardware and software demands. We're bringing new technologies to OpenVMS, porting products to x86, working on open source products that our customers need. We're supporting our users. We're helping customers migrate, offering training, offering migration services, managed services as they need it. We are presenting VMS to new audiences, working in our marketing, expanding our skills and our networks. We're hiring people with new skills. We're working on explaining what VMS is to new audiences and speaking new languages, figuratively and actually speaking new languages with our account management team, reaching out to new markets where customers are running OpenVMS. And we do that by curating the ecosystem. We work together with our independent software developers, software vendors, with our partners that provide their own third-party solutions for VMS systems to ensure that our customers have everything that they need as they migrate to x86. A good example of that is Oracle, and Kevin Duff is with us today and is going to present their strategy. And we have a lot of other ISVs with us presenting today and tomorrow and Friday. Thank you for coming. So this is what we're doing right now in response to the new demands of the modern VMS world. We're working on our product portfolio. We've released a lot of products in 2024. And I mean, if you look at each one of these lines, this is the work of many engineers. It's not just x86. We're releasing versions for alpha, versions for integrity, releasing patches, responding to customer bugs and demands. You'll find layered products here. You will find system patches. You will find open source products. You'll find all sorts of things here. And each and every line is the work of teams of engineers and QA people and documentation people. And this is just 2024. This is just what we've done so far in 2024. And there is more to come. We have releases planned end of this month. We have releases planned in December. And we're going to continue with this in 2025 as well, releasing what our customers expect us to release to be ready for them to migrate to x86 and continue running their applications on alphas and integrities. We have lots of VMS installations worldwide, and we are expanding, reaching out to new markets where customers are running OpenVMS right now, but need our help migrating to x86, need our help with managed services, with support, just with explaining what it is, you know, sitting in their server room running half of their operations that they know nothing about. So the ones that you see in navy blue here are the ones where we have VMS installations that we are supporting or licensing right now. And in light blue, and it's not very visible, I'm sorry. Those ones primarily in Latin America. Sorry about this. Those are our targets. These are the customers that we are talking to, right? That we're talking to, but and that are running VMS, but we're not supporting them fully at the moment, or not engaging with them in the way we'd like to. But this is what we're working on, and we know that there are more countries running OpenVMS, more customers in more countries running OpenVMS, and we're looking to expand in the countries where we're already present. As well. And we see a lot of customers coming to us for more products, more services, more support. So in the long run, what is happening to VMS software in the long run? First, we're getting younger. In 2014, when we were formed, our median age was 55. That was then. Now these people are 65. Right. In 2024, it's 38, and if we just single out engineering, it's 37, and we are getting younger every year. Sorry. Right. We are bridging the gap. We're integrating VMS into our customers' ecosystems. We're bringing products that help them integrate VMS with their existing ecosystem. One of the examples of such products is VMS SPI that integrates with other monitoring solutions that are popular in the industry that our customers are already running on Linux, for example, and that VMS blends in very neatly into that ecosystem with the help of those solutions. We have several pilots running for cloud services. We're planning to offer cloud services, and we are investigating software as a service solutions. And there will be presentations, I believe, later today about this by our partners and also by ourselves. We are supporting, like I said, more VMS installations worldwide, expanding our service offerings. We're offering managed services. We're maintaining our customers' applications, and more customers are coming to us asking for such services. Finally, we've come to realize that the IT industry has changed, and the demands of the ecosystem have changed as well. So older job descriptions sometimes just don't cut it. We need people with new skills, and we need people with new jobs, people that do new things. So we can say that we are now, and we're going to be doing this in the future, training new VMS experts of the future. We don't just have engineers working on VMS software, we have cloud engineers. We, instead of just having ambassadors shape our product strategy like it used to be, so we had, HP had employees that were ambassadors and that helped engineering shaped the product strategy for OpenVMS. We have product managers now. We have Camille with us here today, and he is the chief strategist for OpenVMS, who is working closely with our sales, with our account management, with our partners, with our customers, and shaping the strategy for OpenVMS. And finally, we realized that we don't really need sales because we're not really selling OpenVMS. What we do need is account management. We need to support our customers on their journey to continuing their OpenVMS applications. And on that journey, they need account managers, they need support, they need guidance. They don't really need someone to sell them services. This is where I'd like to invite Jan to the stage to continue with presentation and talk to you about account management.
Nice to get an applause before my speech. Thank you very much for that. Thanks, Darya. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's okay. All right. So, account management. Okay, that's it's the subject I will talk to you about. And looking at an audience like this, all technologies and experts and masterminds, it's a bit of a challenge. And to make a little analogy, it feels like I'm walking down the Victoria's Secret fashion show catwalk, dressed in my favorite union suit and clogs, you know, trying to compete with the feathers and the wings and the lace work of technology. But I will do my best. Account management is what I do. Account management is not sales. I think that, Darya, you made a good point here. We're not out there to push our software. We're not out here to meet our quotas. We're out here to build long-term relationships with you, with our customers, with our partners, with our ISVs, to make sure that they feel the confidence to continue to work with OpenVMS and invest in their applications, and they see that there is a good business value in that. So that's what we try to do. 4 years and 23 days. That's the amount of time I spent with this company. It's been a very exciting 4 years and 23 days. I think it's approximately 40% of our existence. Is that right? Something like that. And see the company develop, and the evolution that we've gone through during those 4 years and 23 days has also been a very interesting experience, or an interesting ride. I will go to this slide. This is actually something that we drafted when I joined the company, because we felt that we were not communicating well enough with our customers. We were not proactively talking to you about your future needs and how that would map to our product plans, etc. We were much too reactive. So we decided to sit down and say, so what are the priorities of our company evolution in order to get to a better point where we are actually a good partner to you? And you will see the first priority is just, you know, get the basics in place, help service our customer base by delivering the OpenVMS x86 portfolio, of course. We're well on the way on that, as you well know. Make sure that we have good ISV support in place. And for the occasions where an ISV has decided to leave us, that we have good alternatives and we create those alternatives. We want to give guidance on how to migrate to x86 and make sure that customers, users are well prepared for that. How do we give advice, and how do we provide the services to bridge the gaps? course, we needed a vision and a roadmap of OpenVMS for the future. So you could trust that we actually had a long-term perspective of what we're doing, not just here to meet the next quarter, but really feel that you could confidently continue to work with your OpenVMS systems and develop them. So that was the first priority. The second priority, we wanted to help develop our customers. And you see the first thing is service, and then we want to take another step and help you develop really your applications or your future. Cloud Linux coexistence, very interesting concept. And I think that we will hear more along those lines today and tomorrow. Of course, expand the service portfolio. We heard many of you who wanted, maybe interim help for specific projects or, continuous help for managed services or monitoring or keeping the systems happy and running. And of course, continue to deliver OpenVMS improvements and product functions. And I think we're well on the way on priority number 2. I get a lot of questions on the third priority. What are we doing in order to find new customers? And to be honest with you, we're doing absolutely nothing. We are, however, searching for OpenVMS users out there that we're not yet connected with. But we have over 1,000 customers. Many of them are their business is relying on an OpenVMS applications. Why should we chase the ones that don't have an OpenVMS applications when we're not talking to the thousands we have? So we are, by design, we are not trying to chase new customers. Instead, we put all our focus on the customer base that we have today, which is very much in line with the vision that Darya presented previously. And if you have a comment on that, you're free to approach me in any way. So what do we do at account management? Well, we have a team and we really try to I'm a bit old school, so I'm not contributing greatly to your youth index there, as you well can see, but I try to be a little bit youthful anyway. But what we try to do is really connect with our customers. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to your customers and we want to be in touch. We have tools and methods. We try to have a toolbox with us. We call it the Discovery Service to provide you with guidance, free of charge, by the way, how you can go towards an x86 future. Responsiveness, speed and execution, be proactive, all buzzwords, but this is really what drives us forward. I think that if you look back a few years, the time it took to get a quote, to get a renewal, to get your license delivery, the lead time of that process has greatly been reduced. And it's not only because the account management team, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but how can we make it easier for you to do business with us? It says meet our customers. I don't think I'm exaggerating that I have 3 or 4 customer meetings every day. We hook up over Teams from Japan to Hawaii, east to west, with customers all over the world in order to make sure that they know what we are doing and primarily that we understand where they are heading. How can we use all this fantastic skill in our organization and among our partners to make sure that we service them as well as possible? Not by flogging software, which is nothing wrong with that, but rather how do we build that partnership of understanding to make sure that they continue to run their OpenVMS systems exactly as they want to. We found early on that clear facts is really a good contribution to any such customer interaction. And I can admit in the initial meetings, it was difficult. Some customers who asked about specific application, and we were pretty certain that that application was not going to be ported. And we dodged the questions. And then we sat down and said that it doesn't take us anywhere. So instead, we started to go with clear facts. Say, this is not going to happen and this is going to happen. Let's plan accordingly. That has been a great way to get the conversations going and to actually move the conversation forward. So it's really, for me to be in close contact with Camille and Darya and the other people in our organization, the clear facts part is very important, that we can actually tell our customers about the challenges associated with a future x86 migration. I have the privilege of working with system engineers and people like Brett, who's here in the audience, will speak later on, and Camille, of course. And in our meetings with the customers, we try to stick to a very simple agenda, mutual updates, specific topics that the customer wants to talk about, not what we want to talk about. And then we do a quick follow-up of any outstanding support cases. So we try to bring the right type of skill to that meeting in order to address specific questions, issues that is important to the customer or to the user. So that's the right topics. Make sure that we talk about something that is relevant to the actual owner, user of that application. I talked a little bit about guidance and advice. Listen and understand. So, well, I'm wearing a jacket. I see there are maybe 2 more jackets in the audience today. So maybe, are you in sales or? No, you're not. Okay, so you took the wrong wardrobe this morning. But listen and understand. You know, it's being a salesperson, it's easy that you want to promote your products. We really try to keep our mouth shut and keep our ears open as much as we can, because there is so much good information coming from you guys and from those customer meetings. This one, and I certainly don't want to underestimate that. When we listen and when we understand and when you share what's important to you, that means that I can have a much healthier dialogue with people like Camille, Brett, and other people in our organization that can influence what are we going to do in the future? Where do we put our money? Where do we put our research and development efforts? So altogether, we want to be easy to do business. So I think this speaks to itself a bit. I think you understand what I'm driving at. I think 2025 is migration season. We see so much effort, so much work, you know, all the customer dialogues that I have. I think 2025 will see migration season for x86. And it could be good to know. I mean, many ask me, okay, who has gone into production? Unfortunately, we have 250 servers in production today on x86, but they are unfortunate with customers that say, I can't mention their names. This is a wonderful test bench, of course it is. So, but we have 500 evaluation licenses out there. We have over 1,000 community users. We're getting that program back on its feet. It was a little shaky for a while, but certainly we see that there's a lot of interest there. We have more than 50 ISV and partner licenses, and we know there's a lot of porting efforts out there. Hello there. Good to have you in the audience. I would say that we have, this is not scientific, but I looked at my notes and I went through all the meeting minutes and all that. Approximately 100 POC pilots in various parts of the world, from simple system to more advanced clusters going on right now. And you will hear more about that. We have a cloud pilot going as well. Cloud pilots going as well. Yes, please.
The 250 servers in production, just 86 servers, or are they put out?
No, that's completely x86. OpenVMS x86 running in production.
Thank you.
Yeah. So migration season is what we expect coming up much more. This will be next year. So here's the team. And I really want you to take with you that we are here to talk to you and to service you. So we have an Americas team. Well, Jackie's right now on maternity leave. She's going to be back shortly. Mike and Sophia are in the audience. Good to have you here. And then the international team, which is Federica and Adam and Julia. And then, of course, we are very reliant on John Ross and his operations team. That's where we get all our license keys, all our quotes, make sure that we're on time with the renewals, that whole machinery is working. And many of you may have noticed that we changed the format of our quotes this year, and we are automating that to speed that up, which means that we hope to spend even more time talking to you because we will have less of that administrative work to do. So we speak 10 languages. Up in this corner, it's interesting to see Canada and the US is approximately 50% of our market, and the rest of the world, or international as we call it, is the other half. So we have a pretty good geographical spread as well. Well,
I noticed you didn't count Australia.
didn't I?
Australians say that they don't speak English.
Oh. Do you have any comments on that, Brett? Well, we have some good interpreters in our company. If you need a hand, we can help out with that too. So, with my union suit, among the feathers and the wings of all the technology that you're going to enjoy for those coming days, I'd like to say thank you for, of course, for coming here, but primarily also for your day-to-day work on keeping OpenVMS a fantastic ecosystem. Thank you so much.
We do have some time for questions. Maybe you should come back.
You didn't think you'd get away that easy.
Okay. So, you want a good deal on a union suit? No, jokes apart. Yes.
That one of your focuses is to reconnect with VMS customers you haven't heard of.
Yep.
How are we doing at that? What kind of connection breaks?
We try to pick up any little thread that we can. We know that there are some good contacts within HPE that we try to pursue. They are not all that easy to reach sometimes. We have had some very good input from some of the ambassadors who know people. It's, you know, and it's not that we necessarily want to be pushy or bang down the doors, but we find in those situations that there is actually a mutual benefit. They appreciate that we reach out to them. Some of them didn't even know that we existed. I think we are seeing a very good and healthy sort of return. Some customers have been very happy running an old HP ISV version or VMS version for many years, and they skipped support. And they ran on integrity, but now the old machine is getting old and they need to port to x86, and they turn to us. But I encourage all of you to, you know, if you know that there are OpenVMS users out there who could benefit from being in touch with us, we'd love to talk to them. Yes, please.
Along that same line, not exactly reconnecting VMS customers. How are you doing with the education? Because
We're not doing well enough.
a couple of years, well, actually several years ago, I needed a refresher. So I actually sat in an introductory C and C++ course for 2 semesters.
Mhm.
And the professor said, who uses Linux? Uses Windows. Well, that says, I raised my hand. I said, I use OpenVMS.
What's that?
What's that? Yeah. He says, nobody runs that anymore. And I asked him if he buys a lottery ticket. Programming VMS is a very different animal. But with Windows, you have to educate them to the concept that there could be more than one user on the machine at a time. But somebody once told me, Windows developers' world ends at the corner of the screen. And he's right. They have no concept of a data center. They have no concept of what it means to put an application up that runs for more than a day without a restart. They have no concept of a system that can be up for years without a reboot.
Also don't know how to develop.
Right. Right.
Yes.
What's a command line?
What's a command line? So, you know, in order to pull in that user, so we need and actually I said this in 2017, some sort of GUI interface for the people who have
Right. Okay, there are several questions in one, so can I tackle them one by one, please?
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't mean it to morph into that.
So Jim, there are 2 parts to your question.
Yeah.
Right. What about training for people who are interested in VMS training specifically? And what about telling people who don't know about OpenVMS what it is, right?
Right.
So training for people who are interested in VMS training specifically, we do offer that. In fact, there is a winter training session that we'll be offering in January We'll be doing fundamentals, programming features, and maybe a couple other courses, I'm not sure. But that is on. We have self-paced training. We have that.
Yeah.
We offer training.
I got all of that.
For the people who do not know OpenVMS, that is a very good question. That is one of our focuses for this year. We will be putting out more information about OpenVMS for those people, and we'll also be talking to some people.
Henrik Jakes of Quest once gave a presentation, might have been at the same boot camp you were.
Okay.
He said, we need to make VMS babies. Because students don't know how to program this.
Right.
Well,
So-
I'll throw in, I was jumping in Jim and Darya, but what needed is a kit, just one link, 5 cents. I know it's personal experience, putting together a VMS.
Too deep a problem, too deep a problem. You have to get the academic world interested.
That's it.
You need to make VMS babies.
I'm sorry about that.
Because I did work
Yes, over there,
for a
behind
state
you.
agency
Sorry.
for over 3 years. And I asked them, and they were moving off of VMS. That was 7 years ago, and they still haven't finished it. But I said, why are you moving on? And they said, because we're a state agency, we can't find people to program. Because we can't go and find the experienced programmers. We hire right out of college.
Okay.
So we need college graduates who know what a command line is. We need college graduates who don't program with all the bells and whistles and the widgets and everything. We need college graduates that understand reliability. I tell a professor, I can point to a VMS system that has been up for 5 years continuously. He goes, no, doesn't exist. No, that's a PhD.
All right. So
So I'm
again,
done.
two ways to proceed for customers who have this problem, right? They can hire people right out of college and they can train them. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be very expensive and very long? Yes. But they can do that and we can support them.
You get the problem.
Yes. And then, oh, you don't need an answer. We get the problem. Thank
Yes,
you.
You don't need
Okay.
an answer.
Okay. Okay. And
It's a
just,
need. It sort of fits in with what you're doing.
Great.
No, but I hear what
But
you're
it's a
saying.
slightly
It's-
different problem.
And we hear that from others as well. And I think that, well, please feel free. You're going to say something.
just a small remark. I'm answering Andrea's question and then
Yeah.
I'll be done. You said the GUI, right? So for system management, we have a web UI, which is a GUI, and it offers you an opportunity to manage OpenVMS system remotely. It's a nice web-based GUI. It has most of the stuff you need and more is coming. And then for development, we currently have VMS ID, which is a plugin for Visual Studio Code, which works for most people because they tend to do development on Linux or Windows anyway. So they have it running anyway, and that connects to your VMS machine, and it offers whatever an ID would offer, such as syntax highlighting, debugging, stuff like that. So we have that presentation on VMS ID coming up, and you'll hear more about Web UI from us too. But we have that. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You were,
Thank you.
yeah. And yeah, I think Greg was holding his hand up for a long time. Sorry.
A different topic. First off, every question should start with thank you for doing this. Following up on different tack, I guess, of diving deeper into customer needs, has there been any thought to revisiting some of the ISVs that have fallen through the cracks, maybe decided to divorce from VMS, and trying to re-energize them or incentivize them to rethink their management strategy? And use maybe older ones like, say, InterSystems, people like that. Any energy towards that?
Well, we try. It's I'm not responsible for the ISVs, but we have actually allocated an ISV manager who's here in the audience. But so that is certainly a step where we show that we have a more ambitious plan relative to ISVs. but just as with customers and or users of OpenVMS, we want to have a good dialogue with all our ISVs. Both the ones that have decided and the ones that are still undecided, and maybe the ones that have decided not to, and see if we can, together with them, create a business plan that makes sense and that they will continue to support OpenVMS. So that's one effort, but at the same time, we also realize that that can be a very energy consuming conversation, and sometimes it's better to sort of realize the facts and say, so what can we do instead? And you know, we just try to be very sober when we look at the ISVs, the number of customers that are depending on them, and how can we work in order to make sure that as many customers as possible get the most benefit of the work that we're doing on the ISV program.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the things that keeps a lot of customers up at night is the thing I'm running that I depend on.
I mentioned that we have a little tool, we call it the Discovery Service, and it's really a database of all the applications, ISV applications that we can find out there. And we do run through that. We gather data from you through a script, and then we look at that. And then we map up all the applications that we will find on the customer system. And we color the ones that we don't know about or that are not porting in red, to communicate first to the customer, and then to, of course, see what we can do in order to make that red color potentially turn into green. And there is a major effort, so that's why it's very important for us to get that information from you, because we will actually build a database of knowledge where we can home in on specific ISVs that are important to the applications you run. Right. Anybody else? Yes.
Not to think of a point. Or then thought to help work with the house level. That's where. Yeah, that's just an option. On that one. That's where you.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yes. So I would not say that this is a specific target for us that we're planning something towards. We do have a few ambassadors who have a relationship with the college or our professors. And I know that they are talking to their students. So the CSLG is not related to that, right? Because we just support colleges that run OpenVMS, where OpenVMS is part of their operations, but that's not related. Right, so yes, I would say that there is no such effort at the moment, not exactly targeted at that. Yes,
Food for
Jim.
thought on that. This same college that I attended, they had a computer architecture course. Their base piece of hardware was the IBM CXT. A little outdated. VMS would be a great platform to teach architecture groups. We started with VAX, where the software group was here, the hardware group was there. Things like change process context was a hardware instruction. Point to this PCB, say save, pointed to that PCB, I'm ready to run. Sort of the same thing with Alpha. The Alpha architecture grew up with Alpha VMS. Now along comes Itanium, who doesn't even know how to spell VMS. You had to make that work. Then you come to Itanium's distant cousin, x86. How do you make an operating system that expects to run with 4 levels of hardware protection run on a piece of hardware that only has 2? This would be a terrific platform for your architecture. Just food for thought.
All right, thank you.
Recorded. Yep, Nick.
Yeah, I think to really access the younger kids, as we'll call them, the up and coming, I think social media is really the way forward. And I don't think, I get your point about not chasing sales, but I think you should be putting up these, along with all the cat videos and everything else you see, we should see what VMS can do and what it can do in the real world. And I think that could well start to spark the interest in those younger college students that are going in there and saying, what is this thing? You know, maybe that's a path to grow those younger kids.
Good point. Thank
Here's
you.
an idea.
I think we have next one. Yeah.
So back to the philosophy of all supporting the VMS group as a longevity. There's an awful lot of customers that are still running on Elton. They may not be running on the original hardware anymore. There's quite a lucrative business to be had for application service. Those Alpha customers are feeling lost. They aren't seeing any kind of updates, really any kind of major enhancements, any real reason to embrace the support contract because there's really nothing new to get. So in the development of new technologies that we do on x86, a lot of those tools and utilities could reasonably easily compile still on the open platform. And that would give customers, number one, which is most important, justification for a support contract. Number two, it would give those Alpha customers a lot more capability than what they currently have today. Now, the only thing right now they have today on the emulation platforms is they can enjoy a much faster environment. Processors run way faster than anything that VMS and was ever exposed to, which is a really great thing, network-wise, and usually customers always have a growth issue. But if the focus is to grow the VMS customer base or to embrace them, then you need to be a little more transparent to the customers that are still potentially could be your customers, which are the Alpha customers. That's, okay, those are getting a little long in the tooth. Yes, there are quite a few of them out there. I'm not picking on the VAX people, because they're doing some very critical things. But the Alpha customers are still a right opportunity to bring you back into a more production environment. They are heavy cluster users. They have a potential for you to grow, but they need leverage to justify the expense, the cost of having the support.
Vacant.
Yeah, it's important.
Thanks for the comments. Yeah, appreciate
You
that.
know, if you look on the web, you'll find, there's a book that's, you know, Linux for VMS users. We really need a book that goes the,
Yeah,
but there's nothing out there for that. But I'm kind of busy with other stuff.
Yes, as everyone knows.
Okay, yes, please.
Yeah, on the list, more about emulators, point. The general strategy, I'm thinking that in airports, has been people who are current will convert forward. Problem. Many of these organizations over the last several years, decade or so, have downsized. They cannot requalify their software without major effort. They don't have the people or skills. Somebody, it may be theoretically simple. We compile 250,000 lines of source code within C or BASIC or Fortran, x86, but they don't have the expertise to tackle that job. That's a fever dream. So they also have a requirement imposed management be on a supported platform. ... I won't belabor that. If the termination of new features in user mode on Alpha and Titanium creates a problem with management. I asking for kernel changes on a severe level. I understand some of the specific x86, but first of all, many of them aren't. They're internal plumbing changes to VMS. And second of all, non-privileged features, but user mode features, viruses and privileges. That's source code compatible because that's your whole argument about VMS. When you say we don't support that, what you're really inadvertently communicating, most likely, is that VMS is not VMS on x86. It's different, which goes contra your own message. So, the extent possible, I understand the problems with qualification and maintaining labs and all that. Yes, having cloud x86 instances and x86 on people's laptops makes life easy. That really
would be very pro your stated mission. And I'll also throw out, many of these companies don't have software contracts, do have hardware contracts. One avenue, if you haven't already explored it, to find the top 20 hardware vendors, hardware services vendors, and chat with them about maybe finding a way they can build it, not give you their customer list, that's a problem. But perhaps make their people aware that it exists and pass on very short. We went through this many decades ago with Deacon's, where Deacon's wanted, user group wanted to be more available to members, potential members, but there was a customer list issue and confidentiality. So the answer is, then digital could give out Deacon's information, just not stick the horses nose in the trout and make them drink, but at least tell them where the water trout is. So that's a thought for where these people do use spare parts.
Oh, it's, I really appreciate, your engagement and all the input here. Do we have a recorder on? So we don't miss all the good input? We do?
If the laptop picks it up.
Okay, well, we have to, take our notes down after this, but thanks. I mean, I appreciate the input and the, yeah.
That we're getting a number of technical people involved in scholarships. In college, a lot of education majors are getting a scholarship where they're going to commit to wait, like teaching in inner cities for 2 or 3 years. Okay, same sort of thing. You could target universities and get scholarships out to people who get some VMS training now and commit to working in OpenVMS for.
Right.
Actually, it's that through that scholarship, end up with certification. So that they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
We really should be.
How much time do we have?
Finishing.
Do we have any final questions before we wrap up? Nick, you have
So,
something you
yeah,
want
so
to
just one point. So I'm an ambassador. Part of that role is supporting museums, which I'm doing in the UK. It'd be great if there was a QR code that I could have somewhere near those exhibits that I supported, and someone can just scan that code, goes to your website, bingo.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Today, yeah.
All right.
Thank
Feel free to intercept me in the breaks. I'm happy to talk to you and thank you for your time.
Thank you.